The morning sun sheds light on a bustling harbor, a complex full of life and productivity. There, a major shipyard where hardworking shipbuilders every day create and construct, all surrounded by green hills and a community of commerce with glistening office towers, small cafes, shops, and even homes. Okpo Land, a bright community located outside of Busan, South Korea, is a water gateway to the local economy. It represents growth, the future, and possibility. But off in the distance, a dark cloud hovers over the hillside. It looms over a place with a terrible history, a place originally meant for fun, for joy, but now synonymous with tragedy. Okpo Land was a small amusement park built on a hillside overlooking the harbor in Okpo, a neighborhood in the city of Geoje, South Korea. Aside from its location, most would consider the park rather unremarkable. It was a small, family-oriented park with an assortment of classic but typical rides and attractions. Probably its biggest draw was proximity versus the actual rides and attractions themselves. After all, it was the only amusement park on Geoje Island. Okpo Land was said to have opened sometime in the mid-1990s, by most accounts in 1996. The park was clearly visible from the bustling harbor below, and when it opened was recognized as a jewel in the city's crown. Some noted the aesthetic it provided for the city, an element of pride amidst a dramatic and beautiful backdrop. From the harbor, one could see the roller coaster and the triangular structure of the Viking ride, a common swinging ship found in many amusement parks across the world. The park was also home to a train, bumper cars, a carousel, a simulator ride, a flying rocket ships ride, a spinning rock and roll ride, and a sky cycle themed to, of all things, ducks. And beyond the traditional ride lineup, the park also featured an arcade, a bowling alley, and a swimming pool complex. Okpo Land was a resounding success when it first opened, drawing families from around the region for an affordable day of fun and enjoyment. But shortly after the park opened, South Korea would be impacted by economic turbulence as part of the Asian financial crisis of 1997. As a result, local heavy industries such as shipbuilding, a major employer in the area, would see a significant and rapid downturn. The downstream effect would be a constriction of discretionary spending among the local population. In turn, attendance at Okpo Land would plummet. In efforts to remain afloat, the owners of Okpo Land would attempt to cut costs to make ends meet. While it's not clear exactly what this entailed, it's likely that measures to cut cost included staff layoffs and, more alarmingly, maintenance shortcuts. As a result, beginning in 1997, though still relatively new, it was said that the park began to fall into disrepair. By some translated accounts from guests, pathways were dirty, rides were closed, and staff were scarce. While the history of Okpo Land is not particularly well documented, one can conclude that the park was able to maintain status quo and remain open through 1998, arguably the worst of the Asian financial crisis. But this was most likely through use of loans and rising debt. While the Asian economy would see a recovery the following year, the struggling park entered 1999, teetering on the brink of insolvency. However, it turns out that financial problems were the least of the park's concerns in 1999. It would seem that the end of the park would come at the hands of something much less assuming. The duck-themed Sky Cycle was a scenic people mover ride designed for children, utilizing an elevated track. Due to the varying topography, the ride sat between 15 and 30 feet above the ground and featured what have now become iconic duck-themed cars, an unsettling design that comes across to many as much more sinister than child-friendly. In the summer of 1999, as a ride car was re-entering the station, a wheel assembly disengaged from the track, tipping the car to the side, ejecting and killing a young child. Rumors suggest that the owner, who would have likely faced criminal negligence charges, fled immediately, hastily shutting down the park and leaving the victim's family with not so much as an apology, let alone compensation. Based on public record, there is no evidence that the owner was ever held liable. The park has since become synonymous with the famous, disturbing image of the derailed car still partially attached to the track. Below it, debris serving as a time capsule from that tragic day. Now completely shuttered, the park would remain standing and almost untouched for more than a decade after its closure. A grim reminder of the tragic event that would haunt the entire community for years to come. And in that time, the site would play host to curious urban explorers and photographers from across the globe. The haunting images generated from these explorations would help fuel the park's reputation as one of the most haunted, abandoned amusement parks in the world. The park was demolished completely in 2011. My name is Scott, and thank you so much for watching. We're a group of curious and passionate humans creating documentary-style content for those who share our curiosity, ask questions, and seek to dig deeper in a world where almost everything isn't quite what it seems. We are Mystery Syndicate. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and visit our website at www.mysterysyndicate.com. And don't forget to like our videos and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. From all of us at Mystery Syndicate, thank you again. We sincerely appreciate your support.